sometimes we design a God that has photo cameras everywhere.
And we can miss the point of it by trying not to.
The rules without relationship breeds rebellion.
And welcome back. This is Something to Think About podcast here at New Hope Church here in Fulton, Maryland. I'm Casper, and I'm joined with my friends here, Heather.
Hi.
Ruben.
Ooh.
Timothy.
Hello.
Amanda.
Hi there.
And we are going through and having a deeper look at some of our messages series here at New Hope Church. Right now, we're going through the core message series. If you haven't already, you can go back on our YouTube and watch all the messages from Pastor Mike on the core message series, talking about what is essential about Christianity. And I love this message series, guys. It's an opportunity to kind of say it really is that simple.
Mm-hmm.
It really is boiled down to that one thing. So today we're looking at how Jesus defined following him. Want to start it off. I don't know about you guys. Grew up in a religious home, a Christian home, and there was when I hear the word Ten Commandments, there's like a visceral memory. In fact, I remember a specific time in my life. There was this camping trip. All of us were camping in our church. We went on an all-church camping trip, and what I remember from that was what we couldn't do on the trip. When I hear commandments, I think about can'ts. What's your guys' experience with rules, expectations, especially when it comes to faith, your experience in faith through life?
I know for me, I grew up, not necessarily the rules are the rules, and the only way, but I know going to a church, growing up in the church, that became the message you heard. And a lot of times people were, I don't want to say judged, but in a way they were judged by the rules that they did keep. And we would always assume, well, so-and-so didn't keep this rule, and they're now out in the world, if you will, is what you would hear.
That was a phrase.
That was a phrase. They're out in the world now.
Yeah.
But the rules were something that, I know we've touched on this before, were something that we would you just follow it. You just do it. And it was almost just this hushed tones of like, oh, so-and-so's not following the rules, the Christian rules. But, looking back on it, it really didn't change my spiritual walk in any way. But I became very good at keeping them or appearing that I was keeping them. So that's kind of how it played in my life.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like, I was thinking what you were saying, there's like this visceral reaction to hearing the Ten Commandments.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes I had this PTSD, like somebody would say, or like you would do something as a child and they would go, well, honor your father and your mother, and it wasn't like, they would almost be used as like a, what is it, like almost like as a guilt, did you remember this one? Or like you do something accidental as a child and they say, oh, well, you didn't, thou shalt not, ... So there's a little PTSD behind those Ten Commandments.
Yeah.
What struck me most was the fact that depending on where and who was the enforcer, the interpretation that they would give you could be something else. And, don't you know we don't wear that? Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a rule.
Yeah. Don't question. Yeah.
I would say too, for what I remember are like certain feelings I experienced in my childhood when it came to the rules, if you will, that were fear driven with that guilt. Well, if I don't do this, that means this.
Yeah.
And I have to do this, right? And it became more of a forced rather than a choice.
Yeah.
That I'm choosing to do this, and really understanding the why of that was kind of missing.
Yeah. I love how you said that, understanding the why. So as I was looking back over this message from Pastor Mike, I appreciated how he was inviting us to rethink how we think about rules, law, to think it through the way Jesus thought about it.
Yeah.
And goes through several different stories there. If you haven't had a chance to go back, you can pause this right now. You can go back, watch Mike's message, come back for this discussion here. But I want to go to this clip here where Mike's talking about a law expert or so-called. What was it? How did you say the authority that said, "Well, this is
Enforcer.
Yeah." So he's the enforcer. Ooh.
There's the word.
Yeah,
Mm.
an enforcer who comes to Jesus with a trick question. A little backstory on this, as you're watching through the message from Mike, Mike had talked about how in this time in Palestine, or with the Jewish people, they didn't just have the 10 Commandments; they had 613 commandments. So, in the Bible, what God had said, and then they had kind of created these layers on top of it. And so this enforcer comes to Jesus with a question.
Jesus doesn't question the question. He isn't like, that's a terrible question. What kind of dumb question how can you ask which one's the most important? I mean, we got 10. Let's just look at this thing. Or, out of the 612, these other ones. Jesus actually validates the question in the way he answers. And sometimes we rush to the end of it and we forget that why Jesus answered the question is giving us some really important information. Because here's how Jesus answers that question from this guy who's an expert in the law. Which one is the most important? Which one is the one that everything hangs on? What's the foundational commandment? And Jesus says, all right, here it is. Doesn't even think. He just says, listen, here's the commandment. The most important commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, to be all in with God. That's the most important commandment. And really, it's more an invitation than it is a command, because how can you command somebody to love? It's an invitation. The most important commandment is actually an invitation that says, love God with everything you have. In fact, Jesus clarifies, says, this is the first and most important, the greatest command.
First and greatest commandment. So this guy's coming to Jesus, Timothy, and he's saying he's trying to trap Jesus to place which all these laws are important, and he's trying to get Jesus to say one of them isn't important, and Jesus sidesteps it, or does he?
He really didn't sidestep it.
No.
I don't. Well, he's saying before that he had saying, "I have kept them all."
Yeah.
And so, which one of them all? And Jesus said, "Oh, I think there is a problem with what your all means. The all actually means all of your heart, not the all that you counted 1, 2, 3. No. It's all of your heart. That's the all that I'm talking about." So he addressed it and said, "Yeah, you're focusing on the wrong all. The wrong all is how you come to it." So that probably completely changed everything under his feet. And okay.
Yeah.
Don't know how to relate to that.
Did you catch that in there where Mike was saying the difference between a command and an invitation? Mm-hmm. What would, as we talk about the PTSD, Heather, how do you feel when you're hearing command versus, hey, you have an invitation too?
Right. Well, okay, let's take another example. Like, let's say we're going to plan a wedding. Like, I'm planning my wedding.
Right.
How would it look if I went to somebody and say, "You're coming to my wedding," versus, "Would you like to come to my wedding?" You're giving the tone and the delivery in which that is set. Well, I don't want to. That was rude. I don't know if I want to go. And it's almost like that. Like, if somebody says to you, like I had said before, like, you must honor your mother and your father. How does that sound versus, honor them? That's that I'm going to invite you to honor them because of what, they've done for you. It's a different, the tone in which it's delivered and the way in which it is given, that invitation of, it's inviting you to say, like you were saying, the choice.
Yeah.
the choice of it. Like there's a choice in following rules. We can choose to do it. We can choose not to do it. I mean, we see that all the time. We were talking about we have small children. Like we can see that they play with that, choosing whether to obey or not. They play with it. But we're giving them the choice. They're learning. They're choosing. Yeah.
Yeah. So why is it important that Jesus is reframing towards a choice versus when it comes to this first command?
I talking about children. A lot of my mind goes to my children now, but I can't imagine telling my young children, "You are going to love me." That just sounds weird, and it's also just strange.
Yeah.
But in some instances, maybe I'm not saying it out loud. Maybe some parents do. You are going to love me, but I also don't invite them. I don't take my daughter aside. I invite you to love me, but it comes from them naturally to love me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If that makes sense. It's just, the other day, my daughter just came at her and she was talking to her mom. She says, "Mom, I love you."
Aww.
It was not prompted. It was not forced.
Mm-hmm.
It was not commanded.
Yeah.
But because of the way we interact with her, because of the way we interact with our children, it's almost an invitation,
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah.
And they accepted it and they choose, and there's just this love, and we also don't dictate how they show their love to us, which I think is another point that Jesus is trying to make. The Pharisees were saying, we do this, 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 and this. And like Timothy said, great. He's like, you're focusing on the wrong thing. I'm not going through a list of things for my daughter. Once you do this, I'll know you love me, daughter. No.
Yeah.
They do it in how they show it. And that's their love.
Amanda, with this balance, it sounded like there's balance. Inside of that, how do you feel when you're hearing this, because I know we don't, you three have children.
Oh yeah.
Hearing this example of the kids,
Yeah.
I have to imagine there's a point where you do want your kids to do something, right? Or not to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. In an invitation, how does that sound with there being an invitation versus, like, does that lead to action? Do you feel you have to enforce?
It's a good question. I think, working with children, but also working with adults,
Yeah.
there's actually a similarity in how you approach that. And I feel like the invitation allows opportunity to explain the why. In addition to that, I would say it really lessens the chance of resentment, because I feel like a command, if you're saying you must do this as I say,
Yeah.
and you really don't want to, I feel like that harbors
Yeah.
its own emotions that are hard to articulate,
Yeah.
and then could lead to resentment, and then you kind of act out in some shape or form, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where invitation opens up the door for, sure, you can question, right? You can ask. You can choose to agree.
Yeah.
And when it comes to, I think, children, even adults, I think there's always curiosity in that. And how they ask it might be different,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But to me, that's kind of how I see that balance.
Yeah. And I like how you said there with your daughter, she came to you.
Yeah.
There's just something natural about that. When it's not forced, you end up with a flow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which kind of leads us to the next point. So Mike had just said there's the first command, and then Jesus has a second command. Let's see how Mike tease that up.
And the second and sequent command is like the first. It's as important as the first. And here it is: love your neighbor as you love yourself. To which I think the crowd, when they hear this, go, what? I mean, That's one of the laws, but it's not like it's not even make the top 10, right? Neither of the two make the top 10. How are these the most important, Jesus? Then Jesus drops a bombshell that the crowd would have gasped at when they heard Jesus say this. We just hear it and go, okay, but for them, this was a huge statement. Jesus says, all the law and all the writings of the prophets. Let me ask you a deeply theological question. How many is all? Not hard, right? I'm not trying to trick you. I normally don't try to trick, right? I mean, all is all, right? So he's saying, this is earth-shattering to them because they're thinking, wait, we got all these, the whole Torah, all the law refers to the first 5, what we call the books of the Bible, right? The 5 different categories that are in the Bible. And all the writings of the prophets is basically all the other stuff. All of those things that you've based your faith on hang on these 2 commands, which is a huge statement because Jesus is saying, if you want to know what's the most important, these are the most important of all the importance of. All of them are not equal. These 2 are the most important. These 2 are the ones that all the rest.
What's the biggest difference you've noticed between someone who's all about keeping the rules and someone who is all about loving others?
When you keep the rules, and I know I've been there in my life, the space to love others is limited. The space to allow for mistakes from others is limited. And so that makes your love limited. And so if I focus on the rules, my focus is inward. It's almost selfish in a way because I'm trying to keep the rules. I'm trying to keep my standing, if you will. But when it comes to loving others, I hate to use this word, but it's almost messy because, there is no, I don't want to say there's no structure, if you will, but people are people. And when you love others, you just have to have grace. And that's can be difficult, but it's the center of who God is. Yeah.
He said there is no structure. How about this? Imagine yourself driving through a neighborhood. They have a lot of children.
Yeah.
In one neighborhood, they put a sign, drive like your children live here. Okay?
Yeah.
There's no speed limit. But because you also have children,
Yeah.
and when you see children actually playing, maybe it's summer and school's out, they're playing, you're not worried about, am I going 20, 30, whatever? You're actually out there looking for the children that, one of them may be crossing. Oh, look at that. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
But in another neighborhood, they put a sign, 25. When you're driving 25, you're obeying the law. So you don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm driving 25. It doesn't matter if
We're
another
talking
child.
about the reason for doing a thing, not the rule to do the thing.
Right.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm driving 25. The officer can't pull me over because I'm doing 25. In the other neighborhood, it's not posted.
Yeah.
But because I have children, I'm out there looking out for children who are running across them. Like, hey, how are you all? And I'm just living in their neighborhood with them, irrespective of there is no speed limit. No, I'm just there.
I really like what you said. Sorry, where you said, I'm looking out for others. I'm looking for those children.
Yeah.
When you first said speed limit, that says, imagine if your children lived here. I was, wait, where's he going? And then I understood where you were going. But then it does put you in that perspective. I'm looking out for others.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas the one where it says 25, I'm just making sure a cop doesn't pull me over.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I'm worried about.
No, you just, in this whole thing, I'm thinking about my neighborhood where you have the speeding camera.
Yes.
And then there's a part where I pull into my block and there's so I grew up on a street where, 8 of us boys and we were just all playing, touch football or whatever out on the street, right? And when cars would drive by, we'd slap their taillights, so
Living on the edge.
Yeah, but so like I've got that memory of my so when I pull into my street, there's kids on my block, and I'm always pulling in, like I'm creeping around the blind corner because the kids. I don't need the photo camera there. The photo camera Now I'm looking at I'm like, okay. Is it calibrated for 1 mile over or 2 miles? Like, yeah.
But can I say something on that? Sometimes we design a God that has photo cameras everywhere.
Talk about it.
Right?
Talk about it.
We in our mind we think of a God that has photo cameras everywhere, capturing all our sin. Oh, I gotta stay this, and like you said, I gotta make sure it's like, how much sin can I get away with before the camera takes a photo, if you will? You know?
Yeah.
And God is like saying, you're focusing on the wrong thing here.
Yeah.
If I have cameras or don't have cameras, that's not the point.
Yeah.
You know? And so I really like this question because it's like, what's the difference between someone who's following the rules, worried about how much before the camera takes a photo or before the cop, do I get 5 miles an hour over? Or do I get 10 miles an hour over?
Yeah.
You know? And so it's very, very interesting to see it from that perspective.
I love this analogy, Timothy, because it's just what Mike's about to talk about here in our next clip. It's almost like you risk hitting a kid more the more you're looking at your speedometer to not get a photo ticket than just eyes up looking out. Missing the point of the point of the rule to not speed is to not hit it in this analogy, right?
Yeah.
And we can miss the point of it by trying not to.
Right.
Or trying to see how much we can, right? Let's watch this next clip here.
He says the Sabbath day was made to benefit people. The Sabbath was made for man. They, talking about people, were not made for the Sabbath. It was not man made for the Sabbath day. And the sad thing is that when we get this reversed, people never benefit. It makes just for a worse and worse experience when we make it all about the Sabbath and all about its rules and the regulations and all the extra stuff that we've thrown on, just like they did, thousands of years ago. I've told you this before, and I want to remind you again that God didn't create people so they would be someone to keep his laws. It wasn't like God was sitting up in heaven one day and was like, man, I got this great set of laws I thought of, right? I got this big 10. We got another, 603 that we'll add later. But it's like really great laws. I just can't wait to have somebody to keep them. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make people. It doesn't work that way, right? Nobody comes up with rules to manage. First of all, you come up with people, then you figure out, okay, now what are some things I can give them that'll help them in life?
Have there been rules or boundaries in your life that have actually helped you? It was flipping the script over. Instead of PTSD, you're looking at it with nostalgia, with memory, with a positive.
I will say definitely, because he was mentioning Sabbath, that definitely, considering that like a rule or boundary, like when you're younger and, it's sundown and, now it's Sabbath.
And what do you mean, for those who might not, like, what are you meaning when you're talking about Sabbath?
Sabbath, Friday, like literally Friday night, is that what you mean?
Like, what's the concept? Like, what is for you? Like,
take a break, take a breath, take a breather from your week, what you've, the whole, accumulation of whatever it is, work, job, life, and take a day of rest.
Yeah.
Is what I will, of our Sabbath. And, as a young child, it was like, you roll your eyes, okay, okay, you can't do anything, and you had that sense of that boundary of, and I agree, like even my kids now, they kind of really doing, and you're trying to instill, but as an adult, I appreciate it so much. I mean, just for, because I don't know about you guys, but life sometimes, and I need to stop and I need to slow down. And if I didn't have that reminder or that and it has become such a habit or routine, if I didn't have that, I think some of us would just keep going and just keep plowing through and just, just life is going to keep lifing. And if you can't just stop and take a breath and appreciate that rest, your body even needs rest and your mind needs rest and your whole self needs rest. And
yeah.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to add something there too, because speaking of defining what the Sabbath is, I actually didn't grow up with Sabbath, and came from a different denomination. And so I actually learned about Sabbath in adulthood. And I think similar to you, Heather, it's become a place of peace and remembrance. I had a mentor tell me once that God took a day to rest. So can we. And I think there's something really beautiful about that. And it's not just about the resting and the rules. It's an opportunity to connect to other people in fellowship. Because in the day-to-day grind, to-do lists, work, life, we kind of lose that space to do that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, I would say, genuine time you can carve out on Sabbath to be able to spend time with family, friends, with the Lord, yourself, to take care. So that's what it's become for me.
Sounding like for the both of you,
Yeah.
there's that. The first command, connect with God.
Yep.
Second command, or invitation, really, connect with others. It's sounding like having a rhythm of taking a step away is, in some sense, a boundary,
Yes.
but it's more than that.
Right.
It's
It's an enhancement for me.
enhancement.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
I feel like for me, before that, I would be faltering to this go, 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 hustle mentality, if you will, culture.
Yeah.
And it has enhanced my life in a way that teaches me that rest is important. Spending time with people is important.
Yeah.
And you will miss that
Yeah.
because time keeps going.
Yeah. Yeah. Rethinking how we think about God's rules. Thinking specifically, not the 613, I don't know all those, but the 10 that we have that we can go back to, right? Like, it's better when you're not lying, cheating, killing someone's reputation or personhood. Like,
Right.
so let's pull this down to this week ahead. Practical, rolled out. This is going to be a rather personal question. And I'm going to ask it, and maybe it's an introspective question. So I'm going to throw it out to you guys watching as well. I always like to walk away from a conversation with something that's going to challenge me to think, do, or be something this week. Okay.
Okay.
Is there an area of your life, is there an area of my life where I focused on more on the boundary? And maybe missed the reason, the people.
I actually can start with what we were just talking about now when it comes to the Sabbath. And I had a friend of mine. We would talk about the Sabbath, and I would call him, and he used this phrase: "Are you guarding the edges of the Sabbath?"
It sounds like a phrase.
Yeah, it was a phrase that he would use with me, and we were just joking back and forth because it was kind of talking about that PTSD of like, "Are you guarding the edges?" It's
You're saying it's a phrase that you heard as a kid?
It's a phrase. No, I didn't know of this phrase till my friend told it to me.
Oh,
one
okay,
day.
yeah.
And referring to it's almost Sabbath. Are you guarding the edges?
Yeah.
And it's almost like this. Oh no, I gotta get ready. But I grew up knowing what to do, how you do it, how you keep the Sabbath, what not to do. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. And so it almost came down to I am staring at a wall. That's what I can do. And so to answer your question, what I've been trying to do recently, especially with my family now, is to come to a point where there is peace, where there is a sense of, it's finally a time where we can disconnect.
Yes.
It's finally a time where we can connect with others and rejuvenate and bring true rest.
Yeah.
And what does that look like?
Yeah.
For someone that has 2 kids married, it may look different than someone who is single or no kids, or it just looks different.
Yeah.
But is it bringing rest? Is it bringing that true connection that we need to reconnect with God? And so I'm almost, I don't want to say scrubbing what I grew up with, because there are benefits there, but I'm almost rethinking it so that it is a true rest.
Yeah.
And so that it can lead up to it, and not just, hey, I did all the checklist.
Yeah.
Why am I not resting? And so I'm trying to create that and have that there. And it takes time. It's, it takes some lessons here and there to be able to get to that point.
This week I want to. I was thinking about this, and it just really hit me because I was actually I was kind of rehearsing in my brain, what are those 10 commandments? Because sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, let me go down one.
Yeah.
And literally this past week I have a little that is learning the value of telling the truth, and I think that's something that we try, we practice it and everything. And I think this past week, and I'm going to admit it to myself, as I got too wrapped up in the rules of it. I got too wrapped up in trying to teach, this is why we say the truth, and this is what, and I missed out on loving my child in
Wow.
the moments that he wasn't there was some understanding and some give and take between me and him
Yeah.
that needed to happen in that moment,
Yeah.
rather than just keep pushing
Yeah.
this is why we tell the truth. And I needed to take a step back and say,
Yeah.
and I eventually came to that, but it was a hard thing even for me to I had to look at myself and go, okay, wait, you need to
Yeah.
show this child love.
Yeah.
And I love you, we love each other, and and maybe that was the lesson, instead of trying to follow that exact, like,
Yeah.
this is the rule, like we this is what we're supposed to do. And I was like, okay, wait, no, it goes back to something different. We need to, it's all about love and
Yeah.
and how we can love each other in this moment, and teachable moments all around, not
Yeah.
just for
Yeah.
littles,
Yeah.
but for me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've heard it said that rules without relationship breeds rebellion. And it seems to me, at least for me, one of the things I would take away from this, and one of the ways I would this week seek to put the rubber to the road in this, is that every moment, every interaction that I have
Yeah.
with other people
Yeah.
will be to deepen my understanding to deepen my relationship
Yeah.
with them in terms of understanding how and where they're coming from,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
when it's all said and done, it's not about check. I needed to call this person, check, done. I needed to send this text, done.
Yeah.
But it's the tell me mores.
Yeah.
Hey, let me help you understand that a little better. Oh, help me see what you're saying. And those ones, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
the people focus, the others focus.
Yeah.
That's what I think this is talking about for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Amanda.
That's really good. I'm going to make it really practical in terms of, an opportunity to just be there and hold space. I just had family come visit for a couple days, and I don't know if anyone's experienced this, but you have a to-do list before family comes, right? You're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I got to clean this,
Yeah.
I got to cook this, I got to go to the grocery store for this. And I probably got 50% of that done, actually, right? Like, I didn't actually accomplish this to-do list.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I literally had a moment where I was like, is that what matters, though? Is the performance what matters, or is opening my home, my husband and I, to open up our home to our loved ones?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Scratch this. I'm throwing this plan out. We'll go out to dinner and we'll just hold space
Yeah.
and talk.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to me, that's what I want to keep working on,
Yeah.
is looking for those opportunities to scratch that list and just show up.
Show up. Oof. That's beautiful. Yeah, as I was listening to you guys, I was thinking, and I'm remembering the people in my life who did that,
Yeah.
all of this for me, and how I felt, boss at work who chose putting the person ahead of the policy. Had every right to go on the policy, chose the person. And all, not just the one, but like the team, like it's challenging to have that introspective kind of like, and I know we've talked in other episodes where, we like structures, we like the rules, or we don't like them. We don't like the speed limit, or whatever. We like to focus on the speed limit, and miss the kids in the road, or miss the. I was pulling in my neighborhood the other day, and two kids, and I'm seeing them off in the distance, and they're kicking a soccer ball. I'm like, I bet that and one of the kid, as soon as I'm like right about to, he kicks the ball out, and then the other kid doesn't look, runs out, right? And there have been times I've been driving down that road fast. It was a reminder. Not even about the speed. There's been times I've been driving and it's later at night. It's a little difficult to see. It's just a reminder. There's a reason, and those two kids are the reason. And so I love that analogy. I think for me this week, it's pausing the policy. It's not about being unfair or unjust, but like it's looking at people. I love how you phrase it. It's looking at the people around me, and asking, and looking out for their good. Their good. It's something to think about. And I hope you go into your next week with something to think about. We want to thank you for joining us for this episode, and come back again. Hey, we don't ask this a lot, but would you there's a subscribe button, hit that button. You can then hit there's like a notification bell. So anytime we put out a podcast, anytime we have music videos from New Hope Church or messages or live streams, you'll get notified. And so we just thank you for joining us. Thanks for coming to this episode of Something to Think About. We'll see you next time.